Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to Jignasa. I'm Devasmita. So in this particular video, we are going to learn about the introduction to the microbial worlds. So what are the microbes and what are the microbial world? This is mainly study for or going to helpful for those students who are in the VSc, MSc level students. So let's start about the microbial world or introduction of the microbial world. So first of all, we know about what is microbes in the earth, or whenever we live in the earth. There is so many things, and we are in the contact with the various types of the microbes like the bacteria, virus, all those things in our daily lives. So study of microbes is known as the microbiology. So first, this thing known as the what is microbiology. It means the study of microbes is known as the microbiology. First of all, we the humans or how interact with the microbes, the human beings with the food, and how they can be used in our in case of the human beings. It may be either it's have the positive effect and it's have the negative effect. As we know, whenever we eat some foods, there is also found some microbes, and it is microbes present everywhere. So the microorganism, it means it's a very negligible or we cannot see them in our naked eyes. That's so this is very minute in structure, or it may be either it's single cell like in the bacteria, archaea, and some fungus, some protozoa, and some algae. These are some algae are in case of the alive, and the rest of the parts are the not alive. So the microorganisms do not include the viruses because they are not alive, because they have to borrow the biological molecules and the cellular machinery from the host cell to the replicate. Because it has what it said that the viruses are not included in case of the microbes, because it has the own properties. It has because it replicate itself. So that's why this is not alive. And it is the microorganisms include both microorganisms and viruses. So some of the historical roots of the microbiology, like who discovered the microbes, and how when it has properties, what it should be the properties, and all those things. So let's know about the what is the historical roots of the microbiology. So first things, the Robert Hooke in 1635 to 73, who discovered the father of the microbiology, is known as the Robert Hooke. And the early microscope allows the first description of the microbes protein structure of the molds. He drew the pictures and using the old microscope, and looked at the decomposing things such as the decomposing leather. So whenever we see in the earth or in the nature, some of the fruits or some of the things what are going to be destroyed in a few days, because this is due to because of the presence of the microbes. And Anton van Leeuwenhoek is known as the father of bacteriology, or who discovered the first person to see the bacteria, and he named it, or he described about the bacteria. That's why this is known as the Anton van Leeuwenhoek is known as the father of the microbiology. He built his own microscope, which he that used to look at the everything, including the red blood cells, sperm, bodily fluids, and the dental plaque. So he considered, or see, he developed his own microscope. That's why he know about or look about the everything, including the RBC. What RBC in case of the in our blood cells, red blood cells, and sperms, then bodily fluids and dental plaque. He also developed all those things, or he saw his own microscope. So, what is the importance of the microbes and the microbiology? So, in our daily lives, we know that microbes are present everywhere. That's why we know about the study about the microbes, or the study about microbes is known as the microbiology. So it have some harmful bacteria or the viruses, fungi, protozoa kill the millions and the second billions. Because in our daily life, whenever we study or whenever we eat something like that, the food poisoning or some diseases caused by the bacteria, virus and the fungi, all those things. So these are some harmful effect of the bacteria, virus or the microbes. So microbes can digest the food. It has some economic values, like its positive values as well as its negative value. So microbes help the digest food and the protect from the harmful microbes. So it the causes the crop failures. It provides some essential nitrogen to the plants through the symbiotic relationships. Whenever the root noodles of the leguminous plants, some of like pulses, like some pulses like crops, there is the presence of the microbes or the nitrosomonas, nitrococcus, all those things, some nitrogen fixing bacteria which are mainly used for the nitrogen fixation in the root noodles. So, and it is also used in case of the decomposition of the food. So, whenever we eat some foods or the heavy foods, it some microbes have the properties that it decompose the or it break down the foods, so that in our stomach or in our body, the food properly digested. So that it produces some drugs and the antibiotics. It helps in produces of the drugs and the antibiotics. So because in case of the many of the um, antibiotics like streptomycin, neomycin, azithromycin, all those things, these are derivatives of the derived from some of the microbes, like either it may be some fungus, it may be some bacteria and all those things. So it allowed for the composition of the many elements such as the oxygen and the created on the ozone layer, and allowed for the aerobic respiration to evolve. So it have some important properties, like it have created, it have composition of the some oxygen which is mainly for the respiration. So why we study about the microbiology? Because microbiology is very fast and cheap and easy to grow, because some of the bacterial culture, whenever we culture in the culture medium of in laboratory system, it grow within very fast, or bacteria grow in 24 hours. It is doubling its population. That's why we study the microbiology. And it's have no any such type of the requirement, and it's a very basic things to grow in our lab. So E. coli, Escherichia coli has become the model organism because it is extremely easy to replicate. So model organism, on the basis of model organism, we can refer as the E. coli or the Escherichia coli. However, it is important to note that a lot of microbes are not easy to cultivate to produce enzymes and other molecules for the industrial medical uses. So we cannot say that the each and every microbes are used for the medical purposes or some industrial purposes. So it's some of the we cannot consider most of we cannot consider all the microbes, but we consider about the most of the population of the microbes. Okay. So there are no ethical concerns of the microbial experiments, and understanding of the life has arisen largely from the studies of the microorganisms. Since the genetic code is universal, because we have already studied about the genetic code, because it have the triplet code, and each and every triplet code has the specific coding sequences for the amino acids. So these are also used in case of the proteins or mm, amino acids for study in the genetical studies. So study of the microorganisms contribute the fundamental knowledge of the life processes, because fundamental process in our this basic basic structure like the DNA, RNA, and all those things, these are all about and these are mainly responsible for the contribution of our fundamental process. So still know very little about the microorganisms that are present on the earth, because on the earth is a huge surfaces, and most of and we cannot know about the maximum part of the microorganisms. So whatever we research in our studies, or whatever we research in some through some scientist or many researchers, we just found few things about the microorganism. So microorganisms are the first life on earth, because these are the minute in structure, and these are the unicellular. That's why these are the arise this these are arise in the earth first. So the for the health of the entire biosphere depends on the microbes. It's the common things, because the all of the things are dependent on the biosphere, it dependent on the microbes. So greater than 50% of the biomass on the earth is the comprised of the microorganisms. Microorganisms will be on the earth forever, because we know it, each and every sequence, and also it's have the composition of the oxygen. That's why it is till the earth forever, it present in the earth forever. So microbes interact with each other, and the multicellular organisms such as the human and the humans. Microbes can help in the agriculture and the industrial settings. We in the next session we just see we will see about the how it can help in the agriculture and many sectors. So, what do you think the microbes in your body are doing? So, what are the main role of the microbes in our body? Because whenever we eat something, food, so like drink something or and everything, so eating because they need energy, they reproducing or growing, competing, communicating, and nothing energy, and ending out the chemical signal or the messages. Whatever we take in our daily resources or a daily life, that's why all the things are present in each and every things. There is a presence of the microbes, and it needs some energy, because it required it need energy for their reproduction, for their development, for their growth. And due to this all these things, whatever each and every sequence or each and every organism, they can grow in our their colonies, or they can develop its own uh, sequences or a generation. So that's why it needs some energy. After that, ending out the chemical signals and the messages, all this communication, they doing it for energy, and ending out the chemical signals or the messages. After that, if it is positive, then we feel good, and if it give some negative signals, that's why we feeling something wrong, whatever we in our body. It gives some signal that we are going to be disease, or we are going to be unhealthy. So the basis of life, like the living organism made up of the cells, because without cell uh, we cannot build or cannot survive, because a cell is the basic structural functional unit of all living organisms. So living organisms are capable of the some of the metabolism, like it helps to control the set of the chemical reaction that extract some energy and the nutrition and the nutrients from the environment, and they transform into the new materials. That's because whatever we take in to chemical reaction, it means something we take the raw foods, fruits, and it converted into some energy in our body after the breakdown of the particular fruit. So then it make ATP. ATP it means it gives some energy. Then it will directly help with in our body its growth, its reproduction, genetic variation causes the evolution, which is inherited changes within a population through the natural selection over the course of the multiple generation. So what is inherited or what is the evolution? It means it can transform from one generation to the another generation. The genetic changes or genetic variation can be transferred from one generation to another generation. That's why this is known as the inheritance changes. Suppose like for example from in our grandparents that it comes to the gene that comes from the grandparents to the our parents, then our parents to the us. So this is the different generation. The transmit the genetic variation, it is transmitted from the one generation to another generation, and this is known as the genetic variation. And some responses or the adaptation to the external environment, like that some of the like that in our digit condition, whatever we live in any of the environment, in the exotic environment, it's the outer side of the environment, whatever the environmental changes, we can survive on that particular, or we can adjust in that particular situation or particular environments. That is known as the adaptation or adjustment or response. Then homeostasis, then maintaining the internal organization and the order, usually by the expanding the energy. So chemical makeup of the cells. Chemical makeup, it means some micromolecules are the complex molecules, because we the macromolecules, it means ki macro means large, micro means small. So macromolecules, it means ki more than one micromolecules are attached to formation of the complex molecules to composed of the smaller subunits. Most of the smaller subunits like some smaller subunits like them, this is all the micromolecules, this is also micromolecules. So whenever we attach more than one more than micromolecules, then this is known as the macromolecules. And these are the small units, and these sub units are composed to form a macromolecules. So uh, then chemical makeup of some of the like the here is the building block like the nucleic acids, like the DNA, RNA, lipids, then some carbohydrates like the monosaccharide, polysaccharides, and the polypeptides, all those things. So these are the part of the these are the part of the structure. So then comes to the very few changes have been passed into the subsequent generation, but so here is the chemical composition and some genetic changes or some genetic materials. So what are the feature that make the single strand unit of the rRNA or the ribosomal RNA gene sequence ideal for the phylogenetic studies? So exam based questions like the what is the about the, it is the basic structure of or basic properties of the bacteria, virus, and some of the microbes. So first of all, we know about what is the basic properties and what is the characteristic feature of all the microbes. So then it comes to the viruses. Viruses means these are not considered to be alive, because whenever I consider it as the bacteria and some of the fungus, some of the algae, these are the some alive in nature. But viruses are not considered to be the alive. So don't replicate outside by of a host cells. So whenever it a replication, whenever we call about or we talk about the replication, and that the bacteria have its own host cells. That's why this is in case of the host cell it's replicate, but in case of the viruses it has no replication or outside of the replication of the host cells. This is that's why this is the main properties of the viruses, and a little to no biochemical activity outside of the host cell. So basically in case of the virus, it is nothing without the host cell. So, like the machinery needed to the synthesis of the macromolecules, because it has no machinery, it directly reproduces or all this its activity doing inside the host cells, and there is no need of the synthesis of the macromolecules, because in case of the in the previous slide we have already know about the macromolecules, because some of the macromolecules combine to form the macromolecules, but viruses have no need of any such kinds of the macromolecules. So isolated cells have no metabolism, inert and non-reactive outside of the host cell. So it is if we isolate some viruses from the host cell, then it cannot be survive or it cannot be active. So inside the host cell, it is active and it is it completed its all the life cycle. So do not respond to stimuli unless they bind to the receptor on the host cell. So here is the case, that is it cannot bind, it cannot survive also, whenever first of all uh, till the this is here is the example, this is the receptor, sorry, this is the ligand, this is the receptor. So when these ligand and receptor are combined together, then it will give some responses to the host cells, or some give some stimulus, or without binding of the without binding its the ligand and the receptor, ligand and the receptor, then it cannot be give some, it cannot give some responses or all those things. So we conclude that whenever the ligand is binding with the receptor, then it gives some stimulus or some responses. Then the action of the viruses are particularly, or the function of virus after the binding of the ligand and with the receptor, then it gives some responses, either it may be some signal like the it means, causes some diseases and all those things. So this is the main important characteristic feature of the viruses. So important to study because they are molecular parasites that have been around since first cells evolved, because the viruses are the first cells evolves and around all over the world. That's why we need to know about the viruses. So, about the microbial genetics, the evolution of the life on Earth, like when the viruses are derived, or viruses are how it can be evolved. So all the organisms on the earth share a conserved genetic codes, and this common information pathway suggested that all living organisms share a common ancestor. So whenever we study about our evolutionary life cycle or evolutionary tree, then we know about that each and every sector or each and every living organism have a specific genetic code, and it is derived from the pre-ancestral period. It means ki pre-existing species. So that's why we study about the present situation, we consider as or we related with the previous generation. So this is the 4 billion years ago the crust and the atmosphere cooled enough the liquid waste water, and this is the evolutionary trends or evolutionary studies, the whenever it is come to the earth, and whenever what is its chemical composition, what is its other molecular microbial life and all those things. When they look at the origin of the life, it is important to pay attention to the formation of the chain of the RNA, uh, chain of the RNA and the amino acids. Some of the researchers have suggested that the information was originally stored in the RNA molecules, rather than the DNA, because whenever we know that the RNA is the single stranded and the DNA is the double stranded structure. So in case of the viruses, there is the presence of the single stranded RNA maximum, and a rare case, in exceptional cases, there is the presence of the DNA. So whenever we call about, or whenever genetic material, we talk about the genetic material, then there is the presence of the RNA. Most of the genetic material is stored in case of the RNA. So Stanley Miller worked on his mentor Arnold Urey, and we the appearance of the, and here is another thing, that is the prokaryotes and eukaryotes concept. Whenever we study about the cells or particular cells, and then we talk about the prokaryotic cells and the eukaryotic cells. So let's then comes to the stimulus box. Requirement of the early life genetic information storage, the stability to catalyze the biochemical reaction, a way of the separating the cell interior from the external environment. So these are some characteristic feature, or these are some points to know about the viruses. You can note down from these particular slides. So about the genome, when we talk about the DNA and RNA, that's the genetic materials or the genetic molecules, it has the double-stranded DNA is stable, and the reason it was the two strands, it because if one strand gets damaged, you have all the information to generate another one. Because whenever we study about DNA and RNA, or the strand of the DNA and RNA, and DNA is the semi-conservative nature. That's why if you have one DNA strand, then you can generate another DNA strand. So it provides a backup copy of the genetic information. It have a more stable than the RNA because it have a double strand structure. That's why it is more stable than the RNA. RNA has the different function because the mRNA, that is the messenger RNA, is created from the DNA template during the transcription, and it carries the information from the DNA to the protein synthesis. So here is another concept of the central dogma system, that is the in case of the transcription process and the translation process. In case of the transcription, it means the DNA, it can the synthesis of the DNA template from the mRNA, then this process is known as the transcription process, and then DNA to protein synthesis, this is known as the translation process, and the whole sequences is known as the central dogma. And here is it is self-replicating recombination of the RNA and enzymes, the reaction catalyst, and genetic information storage. These are the main function of the DNA and RNA of the viruses. So whenever we in our daily life also, there is a whenever in our skin or damages, or in our body getting damaged, then it will be recovered after few days, because due to because of the presence of the DNA, and it can provide, or it can have the properties that it can um, recover all the damages. So microorganisms and the biochemical cycling. So what do you mean by microorganisms and the biogeochemical cycling? Because of the biogeochemical cycling, it means that some of the cycles, like the some water cycle, nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle, and all those things, these are known as the biogeochemical cycles. So microorganisms modulate the conditions of the biosphere. So as we studied in the earlier, in the previous slide, that the microbes are present everywhere, and they will stay, or they will stand till the last of the earth, till the end of the earth. So these are the modulate condition of the biospheres. It involves in the biochemical cycling, which is the transitioning of the various chemical between the organic and the inorganic forms, because it has the properties, or it is consist of the oxygen and composition of the oxygen. That's why this is mainly used in the breathing process or the respiration process. So photosynthetic cyanobacteria converted the carbon dioxide into the organic molecules, and the microbial for metabolism converts it back into the carbon dioxide. Some microbes can convert the nitrogen gas into the forms that can be used other organisms. Some nitrogen fixation of the accomplished mainly by the bacteria living in the symbiotic relationship with the plants. So what is the symbiotic relationship? So symbiotic relationship, it means some of the root nodes, it cannot harm any substances or any plants that like the symbiotic association, it means the nitrogen fixation in case of the some bacteria presents or the some microbes presents in case of the root nodules of some higher plants or the nodules, some lower plants also. So these are combined with each other or present with each other without a harm, without a harmful effect with both of these. So this is known as the symbiotic association, or in case of the symbiotic association, both are getting benefited from each other. So this is known as the symbiotic association. So some bacteria can also convert the organic molecule back to the nitrogen through the denitrification. So nitrification and denitrification process. It means that some bacteria are involved in the nitrogen fixation process. That's why this is known as the nitrification. And some of the bacteria are mainly used to in case of the it or in converting into the nitrogen to denitrification process. This is known as the denitrification process, and it is mainly some of the bacteria are help in the soil fertility, increasing the soil fertility. Some of are decreases in the fertility rate of the soil or agricultural fields. So these are mainly it's the presence or absence of the harmful or the uh, harmful bacteria or some of the useful microorganisms. So microbial interaction, like the humans, microbes are alive and in on the human often the symbiotic relationship where they help us the digestion of the foods. In our stomach also there is the presence of the microbes. So that's why these can help for the breakdown of our food, and it helps mainly in the digestion process. So one microbes waste in the another microbes nutrients and work as the community and the share energy and the nutrients. After the after the microbial interaction, they interact each other, and after rest of the part of they interacted each other. After they converted the sources into the some energy or in the form of the ATP. So then microbes and the diseases, because we know that various types of the diseases in our body or in our environment arises or the causes by some of the microbes. Either it may be bacterial diseases, viruses diseases, fungal diseases. So all these things are to be by some microbes or some like microbes like the bacteria, viruses and the fungi. So these were microbes are not always associated with the diseases. Historically believed that to be the cause of the bad air or the angry goats, and when microbes were discovered, it was thought that they could spontaneously form the non-living matters. So Louis Pasteur, one scientist, he discovered that the living organism discriminate between the optical isomers. He discovered the biological nature of the alcoholic fermentation. He developed the vaccine of the anthrax and the fall cholera and the rabies. So Louis Pasteur, he is the scientist, and he first discovered the organism and the living organism which discriminate between the optical isomers. And another sequences, that is the alcoholic fermentation. In case of the what is fermentation? Fermentation means the absence of oxygen. The process is known as absence of oxygen. This is known as the alcoholic fermentation. The production of the alcohol, it is known as the alcoholic fermentation. Then he developed the vaccine for anthrax and cholera and the rabies. These diseases, these are some diseases, and some Louis Pasteur is developed vaccine for anthrax, for cholera and the rabies. So this is very important for you. So disprove the spontaneous generation and the develop the methods for the controlling the growth of the microorganisms. So he also developed some some things that which process we can control the growth of the microorganisms. And spontaneous generation, it means ki spontaneous generation, it means ki which is continuously growing, which is continuously growing and one generation to another generation, there is no breakage system, then this reaction or this generation is known as the spontaneous generation. Then he added nutrients both in this one naked flux and the boil the growth of the contaminated microorganisms. Observe the flux and the signs of microbial growth outside the could not make the flux and the bacteria on the other structure. So in his experiment, what he did that he took a swan naked flux. Have you seen the swan naked flux? This is the swan naked flux. This is the swan naked flux. So in his swan naked flux, when he took all those things, or the bacteria or the consider microbial contamination, he said he seen that inside the flux there is no contamination. But he upon the whenever he open the cap of this flask, then there the inside there is the coming of the air inside the flux, and there is after that the contamination of the bacteria starts. So his experiment in his experiment, like the neck and the never come in the contact with sterile both, if the flux was tightened such, what he concluded that whenever he tighten the flux, there is no contamination or there is no microbial growth inside the flux. But whenever he upon the cap or upon the flux, then there is coming of the air and inside the flux, and there is the microbial growth, or there is the development of the microbes. So as a result, there is microbes are present in case of the air, in the air. That's why whenever the tighten flux tighten on flux, there is no contamination or no microbial growth. Whenever the air enters into the flux, then there is the development of the microbial growth. So the identification of the infectious agent. Infectious agent means the sum of which is infection causing agents. How can we identify the which agent are infecting our body or infection causes? So Robert Koch determined the Bacillus anthracis. Anthrax disease is caused by the Bacillus anthracis, and causal organism is the Bacillus anthracis, and the disease name is the anthrax. And in and the mycobacterium was caused by the tuberculosis. So TB normally we call as the TB, or the tuberculosis is mainly caused by the mycobacterium. So the causal organisms means the which cause the disease, and after the organism enters in our body, then it can causes the particular disease, like Bacillus anthracis for the anthrax disease, and mycobacterium for the tuberculosis. The established basic rules for the determining which the microbes caused which the disease, that is the cause postulates. Cause postulation means that can be used to show a specific microbes causes the specific diseases. So cause postulates, it means that the particular microbes are referred for the particular diseases. In that case, it is known as a cause postulates. So the suspected microbes is identified in every person with the disease, but not those without in the illness. So a pure culture of the suspected microbes is obtained. Experimental inoculation of the suspected microbes into the healthy test host causes the same illness. And the cause postulates are in the action, that is the gastric ulcer. In the normal cases, so whenever we see about the various patients in case of the gastric ulcer, So these are mainly for the Court's postulates. Also are the sores on the lining of the stomach and thought to be the cause of excess acid. And this is mainly gastric ulcer is mainly for the lining of the stomach, and due to the excess acid, and this converted is the gastric ulcer. And in 1980s, the researchers isolated the microbes like the Helicobacter pyloriform. Normally, we call as the normally piles. Normally, we call as the piles. This is the call mainly form the Helicobacter pyliforms. Also, it is the tissues, and by applying the classic post postulate rules, this microbes was found to be the causative agent for the stomach ulcer. And in these microbes, that is the Helicobacter pyloriforms, is mainly responsible for the stomach ulcer. He knew that the many microorganisms suspected to cause the diseases can be isolated from the both the sick and the healthy fold, invalidating his first postulate. So these are some identification of the infectious agents that in the either it is some bacteria or some viral diseases or the some fungus which causes the particular disease. The effect of infectious diseases. So what are the effect of infectious disease? When the relationship between the microbes and the host become the unbalanced, then when the disease can arise. That's why the disease arises. Whenever we normally survive or suffer from some cold fever or anything else, so there in our immune system, there is in our body also there is the presence of some good bacteria or the good microbes, and in the environment there is presence of the bad microbes. So there is here is some interesting things that the inside our body there is the presence of some protective agents, protective microbes that it fights with the environment, outer environments, microbes of the outer environments. Whenever these microbes are getting loose or getting tired from those microbes, then it attacked in our body. So these are some effects. After that, whenever it lose in the it imbalance, then the outer diseases are captured in our body, so that there is some diseases occurred in our body. So suffering from some fevers, coughs, muscles ache, and the diarrhea are the normal effect or the less severe microbial infection. And in place without effective public health measures, infectious disease plays a major prominent role in the everyday life and can be serious or the life threatening. So some of the diseases like the AIDS, malaria, and TB, all these things are the serious infectious disease. But in our some cough, cold, cough, fever, or muscle ache, or the headache. These are some less severe types of diseases or microbial infections. So most of the peoples also died during the war times, were the victim of the microbes, because battlefield wounds would become the infected, and the diseases such as the cholera are were common due to the lack of the sanitation as well as the malnutrition that made for them more susceptible to the disease. In the previous day, because whenever there is no development of uh, some medicines or some vaccination also, so there is cholera disease. So maximum people also get in cholera. So how can we control of the infectious disease? So people in developed countries, because India is a developing country, not a developed. developed country like the America, Asia, and Russia, all those things. In that particular countries, they saw a dramatic decreases in the health death due to the infectious disease because of the improved sanitation and the development of the antimicrobial drugs and the vaccines. But in case of the India, there is no highly development in our health sector or in our medicine sectors. So the prevention of the infection use of how can we control the infectious disease? That is the prevention, take prevention of the infections, then use of the antiseptics, then sanitation, proper sanitation. We improve our proper sanitation, and food water safety, like the contaminated food we cannot eat the contaminated food, and after washing the food we can take it, or proper sanitation, proper we can maintain our proper hygiene, and the personal hygiene improvement, vaccination, antibiotics, and these are some of the we can control by using or follow these things in our daily life. So thank you. I think all of you getting some idea about the microbial walls, or what are the microbes, what are the microbiology, how can they help in our daily lives, or what are the main role, either a positive or a negative, what maybe it's a chemical composition, it's a biological structure, and all those things. Disease, it's some of the diseases caused by the microbes. So, thank you. In the next session, we particularly know about the positive and the negative effect of the bacteria. I want to know about the bacteria, particular session, bacteria and the viruses. Thank you.